Darwin Watterson wasn't always the walking, talking goldfish we know and love. In fact, he wasn't even supposed to be a part of the Wattersons. But thanks to one bizarre pet shop, a mysterious van, and a whole lot of emotional bonding, Darwin evolved, literally, into one of Elmore's most lovable characters. This is more than just a fish tale. It's a story of friendship, transformation, mythology, and a few very suspicious toilet flushes. Get comfy, grab a grape soda, and let's dive deep, pun intended, into the complete story of Darwin. Darwin's origin story is one of the weirdest, sweetest, and most chaotic tales in the amazing world of Gumball. And that's saying something. It all begins not with a birth, but with a shopping trip. Gumball, being the tiny ball of energy and destruction that he was as a toddler, needed a distraction. Nicole and Richard, in a rare moment of joint parenting strategy, decided a pet goldfish might keep him occupied. And surprisingly, it worked. Until it didn't. See, Gumball had a bit of a goldfish problem. He loved them, hugged them, played with them, accidentally ended them. One after another, these poor goldfish met their doom, either through Gumball's rough affection or pure Elmore-style mishaps. Each time, Richard flushed the dearly departed down the toilet, reassured Gumball, and headed back to the pet store like it was on his daily routine. But then things got spooky. When Richard showed up one day to get yet another replacement, he was told that the last two goldfish had leapt out of their fish tank. Yes, the fish literally tried to escape the fate of becoming a toddler's temporary companion. Defeated and terrified of Gumball's upcoming meltdown, Richard sulked back to his car, and then he noticed it. An eerie van parked nearby, practically radiating bad idea. Naturally, he went inside. Inside this strange shop on wheels, Richard found shelves full of oddities, and among them a goldfish. Not for sale, mysterious, glowy, probably cursed. So, of course, Richard bought it for $100, because that's what responsible dads do, right? He brought the fish home, and Gumball named him Darwin. But this Darwin was different. He mimicked Gumball's every move, understood him. There was something almost magical about their bond, as if the two had known each other forever. And then, the weirdness went full throttle. Darwin grew legs. Yes, legs. No one really questioned it, because Elmore, but the implication was clear. Darwin's deep emotional connection with Gumball triggered a kind of cartoon evolution. Lungs appeared, words formed. A full transformation was underway. Darwin wasn't just a pet anymore. He was becoming family. Unfortunately, family photos got chaotic real fast. While trying to snap a pic of their new member, Richard and Nicole accidentally yeeted Darwin into the toilet. One thing led to another, and he was flushed again. Thus began Darwin's great odyssey. From toilet bowl to open sea, he swam through the unknown, driven by sheer will and love. Eventually, he washed ashore and, determined to get back to Gumball, began the long journey on foot. After many struggles, Darwin finally found the Wattersons again, only to discover they were shopping for his replacement. Heartbroken, he walked away. But Gumball felt it. Somehow, that bond sparked again. He chased after Darwin. They reunited outside the mall, and from that moment on, Darwin was no longer just a pet. He was a Watterson, officially. It was love, ridiculous, hilarious, chaotic love that transformed a simple goldfish into a walking, talking brother. Sure, the science is non-existent, but emotionally it tracks. In Elmore, the power of love can literally make you grow legs. But being part of the Watterson family isn't just about hugs and photo albums, it's about navigating wild sibling dynamics and the occasional indoor flood. Darwin may have started out as Gumball's pet, but once he earned his place in the Watterson family, he became much more than a goldfish with legs. He became a brother. And like any sibling relationship, especially in Elmore, things got messy, loud, hilarious, and occasionally life-threatening. In the best way, of course. Darwin and Gumball are the undisputed kings of chaos. They're not just best friends. They're soul brothers who manage to turn even the simplest tasks into full-blown catastrophes. Whether they're building cardboard forts, getting stuck in parallel dimensions, or just trying to make toast, these two operate on a wavelength of pure mayhem. But underneath all the absurd adventures is a genuine deep connection. Gumball may be impulsive, dramatic, and a little reckless, but Darwin balances him out with warmth, optimism, and the occasional burst of wisdom. They bicker, they mess things up, but they always have each other's backs. And then there's Anais, the actual genius of the family. While she and Darwin don't get as much screen time together compared to Gumball, their moments are sweet and telling. Darwin often acts like a protective big brother, despite technically being the youngest in the family. In episodes like The Responsible, the three kids are left to babysit themselves, because of course they are, and everything goes downhill fast. Darwin and Gumball panic, flood the house, and fail miserably at being responsible. All while Anais, the literal baby, ends up being the most mature one in the room. Still, even in the disaster, you can see Darwin trying to help, to protect, to figure things out, even if he ends up making it worse. As for the parents, Richard and Nicole, they never once treated Darwin like he was anything less than a Watterson. They fed him, housed him, and yelled at him with the same exhausted energy they give the rest of their kids. In a family where logic is optional and shouting is a love language, that's basically as official as it gets. But even in this accepting household, Darwin occasionally wrestles with identity. After all, he's a fish in a land-dwelling family. In The Roots, the Wattersons misread Darwin's behavior and assume he's homesick for his old life in the sea. Cue an emotional crisis, a heartfelt misunderstanding, and the most dramatic re-release into the wild since Finding Nemo. Darwin doesn't actually want to leave. He just wants a bigger fish tank. Classic Elmore logic. Through all this, Darwin's role in the family remains clear. He's the emotional glue holding the Wattersons together. He loves unconditionally, forgives easily, and always tries to do the right thing, even when it goes horribly wrong. He's more than just a sidekick to Gumball. He's a full-fledged Watterson with a heart as big as his eyes. Family isn't Darwin's only focus. Let's talk about love, awkward flirting, and spooky romance. For someone who started out as a pet goldfish, Darwin has more social game than most actual humans. He's that rare kind of person. Well, fish who can walk, or swim, into any room and instantly click with just about anyone. Whether it's Penny, Banana Joe, Carmen, or even Rocky the janitor. Darwin's warm and bubbly personality make him one of the most likable characters in all of Elmore Junior High. He's friendly, supportive, and endlessly optimistic. Basically the human embodiment of a group hug. That said, Darwin isn't just Elmore's resident nice guy. He's also got a surprisingly romantic side. And while he's definitely had his share of crushes and awkward moments, it all eventually leads to something real. His relationship with Carrie, the goth ghost with a heart of fog? Before we get into that, let's rewind. Darwin has had some early flings, or at least some adorably clumsy attempts at them. Take Sarah for instance. She's a bit intense, to put it mildly. Her obsession with Gumball and Darwin borders on fanfiction come to life. But even with all her chaotic energy, Darwin somehow manages to be kind and gentle with her. Then there's Masami, the Stormcloud girl with major rich girl energy. Their interactions are short-lived but entertaining, especially since Darwin seems completely unaware of how to flirt. He's the kind of guy who would compliment your personality, and then apologize for being too forward. But all roads lead to Carrie. At first, she and Darwin are total opposites. She's gloomy, mysterious, and loves to float around like a misty rain cloud. Darwin is all sunshine and sparkles, yet somehow, it works. Their chemistry starts to shine in episodes like Halloween, where Darwin goes above and beyond to impress her during a ghost party. He literally lets himself get possessed. Casual first date stuff. Their connection deepens in The Matchmaker, where Gumball tries, and fails, to force romance between others, only for Darwin and Carrie to naturally click without any help. Their relationship isn't flashy or overdramatic. It's low-key, sincere, and full of small moments that make you go awe. Darwin doesn't just like Carrie because she's cool or spooky, he genuinely tries to understand her, respect her space, and show affection in his own awkwardly adorable way. It's the kind of wholesome pairing that balances personality with heart. And in a world where people regularly turn into toast or glitch out of existence, that kind of emotional consistency is rare. Now, Gumball being Gumball doesn't always take Darwin's crush as well. At one point, he even gets a little jealous. Not in the I want Carrie way, but in the wait, I have to share my best friend now way? He's used to being Darwin's #1 person, so seeing Darwin's attention shift, especially to someone as emotionally complex as Carrie, throws him off. But instead of causing drama, Darwin handles it with maturity. He talks things through, reassures Gumball, and balances both relationships like an absolute pro. He doesn't let his romantic life eclipse his loyalty to Gumball, and that says a lot about his character. It's easy to root for Darwin and Carrie. They're not your typical TV couple. They're a literal ghost and mutated goldfish, but they're sweet, sincere, and emotionally well matched. They show that love in Elmore doesn't have to make sense, it just has to feel right. But wait, behind that soft smile and sweet nature, Darwin's had his fair share of enemies too. Even with his golden heart and endless kindness, Darwin hasn't exactly lived a villain-free life. Sure, most people in Elmore adore him, but not everyone is handing out hugs and high fives. Over the seasons, Darwin has managed to collect a few enemies, awkward run-ins, and one particularly bitter arch-nemesis, Rob. Now, Rob didn't start out evil. In fact, he barely started out at all. He was just a forgotten background character. So forgotten, in fact, that the universe literally deleted him. He got sucked into the void, a bizarre space in the Gumball universe where all irrelevant or broken things are dumped like rejected ideas on a storyboard. While most characters would have stayed lost forever, Rob escaped, and he came back furious. What makes Rob scary isn't just his glitchy face or villain monologues, it's how personal he makes things. He doesn't just want to get revenge on Gumball for being the star of the show. He wants to hurt the people Gumball cares about. That includes Nicole, Anais, Penny, and yes, Darwin. Rob targets Darwin not because he hates him, but because he knows it'll break Gumball's heart. And honestly, that's cold. Outside of Rob, Darwin has had a few short-lived enemies, often the kind that start off hostile and end in weird friendships. Banana Joe, Tobias, Alan, they've all clashed with Darwin at some point. But in classic Darwin style, things usually end with an apology, a group hug, or a heartfelt song about feelings. He's just too nice to stay mad at anyone for long. That's one of Darwin's strongest traits. He connects, he empathizes. Even when people are mean, awkward, or just plain evil, Darwin tries to understand them. It doesn't always work, but it does make him one of the most emotionally intelligent characters in the show. Darwin's not just a character in the story, he is a story. But where did he actually come from before the show? Darwin's journey didn't start in a pet store or even in Elmore. It began on the drawing board of Gumball creator Ben Bocquelet. Before Darwin was a beloved member of the Watterson family, he was inspired by someone real. According to Bocquelet, Darwin was based on his childhood friend Paul, a boy who was taken in by Bocquelet's family and treated like one of their own. That real-life bond of unconditional love and acceptance is what shaped Darwin's entire character arc, from pet to brother to emotional MVP of the show. But Darwin wasn't even made for Gumball originally. He was first designed for a completely different project. Bocquelet was working on a show concept involving mythical creatures hiding in an ordinary suburban setting. Picture yetis in the backyard, sea monsters in the bathtub, and yep, a goldfish with a mysterious past. Darwin's original design might have been linked to mermaids or some kind of underwater creature. That mystical vibe explains a lot about his unusual name. Remember Poseidon? and his strangely magical evolution from fish to functioning middle schooler. In the original pilot, Darwin appeared in full 3D, which looked cool but clashed a bit with the rest of the characters. He had bigger eyes, no eyelashes, and slightly different shoes. When the official series began, he was flattened into 2D animation, but there were still some quirks. In Season 1, Darwin's legs had a black shadow that made it look like he was wearing pants, which, let's be honest, totally confused everyone. Was he modest? Fashion forward? Turns out it was just shading. By Season 2, the animation team gave Darwin a visual upgrade. His eyes were rounded out, the shadow pants were removed, one eyelash was taken off, and his legs and shoes got slightly bigger. The result? A cleaner, more expressive design that fit better with the show's evolving style. From there, Darwin's look stayed consistent and iconic. It's wild to think that a character who started out as a possibly mythical sea creature ended up becoming one of the most beloved cartoon brothers on TV. But that's Darwin for you, always evolving. Hey, real quick, if you've made it this far, you clearly love Darwin almost as much as Gumball does. So why not show some love back by hitting that subscribe button? You'll get more deep dives, secret lore, and maybe a few more fishy facts you didn't know you needed. Plus, it's free, unlike that $100 goldfish. Now, you might think that Darwin's design is final, but think again. There's a darker side to his visual evolution. Darwin's current look is iconic, but did you know he used to look totally different? Back in the original pilot episode, Darwin appeared in full 3D. He had bigger eyes, no eyelashes, and slightly different shoes. It was cool, but a little uncanny. The kind of vibe where you're not sure if he's your friend or about to glitch through your TV screen. That version of Darwin didn't stick around for long. By the time Season 1 rolled in, Darwin was reanimated in 2D to better fit Gumball's chaotic animation stew. But the 3D version didn't just vanish, it ended up somewhere very specific. The Void. In the episode The Void, we learned that any character, object, or concept deemed too irrelevant, outdated, or just plain weird gets erased from the world and banished to this forgotten dimension. And guess who pops up in the background? That's right, 3D Darwin. He shows up for a split second, just long enough to make fans collectively whisper, "Wait, what?" This moment pretty much confirmed that the show's old design for Darwin had officially been scrapped, canonically deleted like an unwanted file. He's joined by other forgotten characters like Molly, who also got Void Zone for supposedly being too boring. Harsh, but here's where things get fun. Some fans have speculated that Void Darwin isn't just a discarded model. Maybe he's an alternate version, a glitch, a Darwin from a different timeline. It's a classic Gumball move, mixing comedy with meta lore and casually dropping a design Easter egg that sparks 10 years of Reddit threads. And in typical Gumball fashion, the show doesn't over-explain it, it just leaves that forgotten Darwin there, watching, waiting, probably wondering why he didn't get those cool 2D shoes. But if you thought Darwin's looks had a story, wait till you hear about his alternate clone from a Chinese knockoff show. Now let's talk about one of the weirdest characters to ever copy Darwin. Literally. Meet Ribbit. He's blue, he's frog-like, he wears purple pants, and he's suspiciously similar to her orange fishy friend. He shows up in the episode The Copycats, a satirical roast of a real-life Chinese bootleg show called Miracle Star, which blatantly copied The Amazing World of Gumball, animation style, characters, and all. Ribbit is Darwin's bizarre doppelganger. While Darwin is pantless with sneakers, Ribbit rocks pants but no shoes. His face, his body shape, even his expressions all mirror Darwin's, just off. Like someone described Darwin to an AI that ran out of RAM. The whole episode is Gumball firing back in the most hilarious way possible. Instead of ignoring the copycat, they made a whole storyline out of it. Ribbit and his knockoff family start mimicking everything the Watersons do. Eating, talking, even fighting. It's creepy, it's funny, and it makes Darwin confront a strange question. What makes him, him? By the end, the episode becomes a clever commentary on originality. Even when someone copies your look, your voice, your vibe, they can never copy your soul. Ribbit may look like Darwin, but he doesn't have his charm, his heart, or his character arc powered by toilet water and unconditional love. From pet shop fish to knockoff fighting legend, Darwin's journey has been nothing short of evolutionary. Darwin Watterson may have started life in a fishbowl, but he swam his way straight into our hearts. He's the kind of character who reminds us that family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty, love, and showing up, even with webbed feet. From mysterious origins to mythological middle names, from ghost romances to cartoon redesigns, Darwin is the emotional anchor of the amazing world of Gumball. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Darwin's world, give this video a like, comment your favorite Darwin moment, and subscribe for more animated lore. Until next time, stay weird, stay wonderful, and stay out of the void.